Right now, as you hear this, a bird in your yard may be communicating about you. That isn't poetry or imagination. It's science. Bird communication is so complex that researchers have spent decades trying to decode it. Recent discoveries are changing what we thought we knew. Birds don't just sing. They share information. They warn others. They assess their surroundings. And part of that communication may involve you. Who you are, how dangerous you seem, and whether you can be trusted. Welcome to today's video. If you're new, remember to subscribe to the channel because what you're about to learn will change the way you understand every bird that visits your yard. In this video, we'll explore that the birds in your yard have a secret language about you, a fact that science has just confirmed. To understand what they might be saying, we need to know something important. Birds don't use only one type of sound. They use several, and each has a different purpose. There are territorial songs, like the sounds you hear at dawn when a cardinal reaches a high branch and sings loudly. That isn't simple happiness. It's a message. This place is mine. Stay away. There are also courtship songs, softer and more complex sounds meant to attract a mate. But the most important sound in this story isn't really a song. It's a call. Calls are short, fast, and highly specific. They function as the true language of birds. Some are contact calls. One bird signals, "I'm here, where are you?" Another answers, almost like brief text messages, simple, direct, and constant. Then there are alarm calls, and these involve you directly. Whenever you step into your yard, birds can assess you in less than 2 seconds. Depending on their judgment, they produce different calls. If they recognize you and see you as harmless, the call stays soft and subtle. The message is simple. It's the usual person. No danger. But if they don't know you, or you suddenly behave differently, the sound changes immediately. One of the most studied examples comes from great tits. Scientists discovered that they use alarm calls sounding like chick-a-dee-dee. Those ending D sounds aren't random. They're coded information. The greater the threat, the more D's are added. A large owl on a branch may trigger chick-a-dee. Only a few extra syllables. Moderate danger. But a smaller owl, faster, more agile, and more dangerous for birds of that size, can trigger chick-a-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. 5 or more ending syllables. Because in the bird world, not every threat is treated the same. Maximum danger. This isn't a simple cry of fear. It's a detailed threat report, with information encoded in the number of syllables. And here's the surprising part. This system isn't limited to great tits. Other species understand it too. Tree creepers hear the alarm and react. Wrens hear it and hide. Robins hear it and change their behavior. Even squirrels respond to great tit warnings. It's an interspecies communication network, an invisible internet operating in real time above your head. And without realizing it, you're part of it. When you step into your yard in the morning, this can happen within the first 30 seconds. The first bird that notices you sends a call. That signal carries information, your size, your movement, and whether you're a threat. Then it spreads, from trees to bushes, from bushes to fences. Within seconds, birds inside roughly a 50-meter radius know you've appeared. They know whether you're familiar or a stranger. They know whether they should be concerned. All of that happens in less than half a minute, and you probably never noticed it, because to you, it sounded like an ordinary bird call. But the conversation doesn't end there. Researchers found something even more interesting. Birds don't only communicate danger, they also communicate safety. When a bird calmly eats from your feeder, nearby birds watching from branches treat that as information. If a sparrow eats without flying away, the message is clear. It's safe to approach. Scientists call this an unnoticed social signal. The bird isn't intentionally sending a message, but its behavior communicates as clearly as an alarm call. That explains why once one bird begins eating in your yard, others often follow. It's not coincidence. It's real-time social information. Your yard is a constant flow of data. Every movement, every sound, even silence becomes information birds. Process, share, and use to make decisions. And science is only beginning to uncover a deeper level beneath it all. Birds have something researchers call a fear soundscape. It's an auditory map birds build from the sounds around them. When your yard is calm, filled with soft chirps and relaxed contact calls, the soundscape sends one message: everything is safe. Birds stay relaxed. They come down to feed, bathe, and groom themselves. But once something changes, when an alarm call appears, the soundscape changes too. Songs stop. Contact calls disappear. And suddenly, a heavy silence settles over the yard. But that silence isn't empty. In the bird world, it may be the strongest warning signal of all. When every bird in your yard becomes silent at the same moment, something has likely entered the area. A cat, a hawk, a stranger. Silence becomes the fastest way to communicate danger. Stay still. Don't move. If you've ever noticed your yard suddenly becoming completely quiet, it wasn't random. It was a coordinated and immediate group response, and without realizing it, you may have been the reason. So let's return to the original question. What are the birds in your yard saying about you? If you move slowly, avoid sudden noise, and regularly feed birds, the message about you is simple. It's the usual person. Everything is fine. But if you're unpredictable, loud, or your cat follows you outside, the conversation changes. The calls become longer, more intense, more alarm syllables are added, and the message travels farther. Because your reputation among the birds in the neighborhood is constantly being updated. Every time you step into your yard, every movement you make is being noticed, evaluated, and categorized. And perhaps the most fascinating part is that the conversation never really ends. From the first sound at sunrise to the final call before night arrives, birds continue communicating. They exchange information. They report changes. They build a shared understanding of everything happening in that space, including you. The next time you walk outside and hear birds singing, listen a little more carefully, because they may not simply be singing for themselves. They could be sharing information with others in a language shaped over millions of years, one that science is only beginning to understand. And if you've ever wondered how intelligent the birds visiting your yard really are, or just how far their communication abilities extend, the answers may be even more surprising than you think. One last question. Have you ever noticed your yard suddenly becoming completely silent? Now you may know why.